you. Lawrence Jones has been visiting blue cities with Fox's exclusive Barbershop Talk series. Last week, he had a very special guest, Donald Trump, joined Lawrence at the Knockout Barbershop in the Bronx. You're going to watch this.
So, Mr. President, I have a 5-year-old son that's in public schools right now. I have a lot of people asking me questions as far as the failing school systems that we have here in the Bronx.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
They're failing.
What are we going to do to improve that in our school systems?
Well, we're moving them back from Washington, where you have people that don't care about New York, frankly. You know, in Washington, I don't know if you ever noticed this, you go Department of Education, Department of Education. You got half the buildings are Department of Education. I never saw. You don't need any of them. You know, I want one person and a secretary to just make sure they're teaching English, okay? Give it a little English, okay? I say reading, writing, and arithmetic. No transgender, no operations. You know, they take your kid. There are some places, your boy leaves the school, comes back, a girl, okay? Without parental consent. What is that all about? That's like, that's when they talk about a threat to democracy, they're a threat.
All right, the man himself, otherwise known as Lawrence Jones, is with us this morning. Lawrence, I watched the whole thing.
Thank you.
And he seemed really engaged all the way through.
I stepped out of the way, Stu.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I wanted to have a true barbershop town hall experience. And so the important part was for the former president to engage with the people in the barbershop, to talk about their businesses, to talk about taxes, to talk about their kids in schools, what the Make America Healthy Again, what does all that entail? And it was like your average day barbershop. But still, I got to tell you, the line outside of the barbershop in the Bronx, New York, we're talking about Castle Hill, to have, I've never seen that for a Republican, ever, of residents just to see the president, to tell them how they felt about the issues of the day. I think if more Republicans were to do that, the numbers would be higher.
Okay, well, let's turn this around and look at Kamala Harris.
Okay.
She's downplaying her falling support among male voters. Watch this.
Why do you think there is a disconnect for you with men right now?
Well, let me tell you, you can look at this audience and you can see that there are people of every background and gender who are showing up by the thousands. And I think it is because they know I intend to be a president for all Americans. And that is how I'm campaigning to earn the vote of every American.
Just to be clear, though, men still say by 16% margin they're supporting Donald Trump right now. Why do you think that is?
It's not the experience that I'm having, to be honest with you.
All right, let's ask Lawrence. Why is Harris down among men?
Well, because she's not talking about the issues that matter to black male voters. Imagine black males telling you, hey, focus on the economy. Focus on the illegal immigration that's happening in the country because it's taking away our jobs. And then you release a policy proposal that talks about weed. I mean, that just goes into a different camp of people. Weed is a luxury. It's recreational. If people can't afford groceries, then they can't afford weed. It was insulting to black Americans. But, you know, she's going to tell you that, look, I got a coalition of voters that are from all different backgrounds. When you look at black male support, black in general support, it's normally at 95%, 96% of Democrats.
Yes.
So if you have a president that's getting 25 to 26% of it, that breaks that coalition. Look, I'm not going to say that 80% of black males are going to vote for Donald Trump, but that 30% could be game-changing.
Oh, it would. She can't win. If she can't get at least 85% support from the black community, she cannot win this election.
Yeah, I mean,
bad?
I think that is true, but I also think that the warning signs were there. I've been talking about this for years, Steve. Go to the community, talk about the issues that matter to. They're going to wait to 3 weeks until the election to release policy proposals. I think it's too late.
We're going to be running your barbershop thing for a long time to come, all the way through the show today. It was terrific. Lawrence Jones, thank you very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.